All right, a couple of questions before we wrap this up. This comes from TZ. Mike, how do you think the Dolphins are justifying all the money being spent on the offensive side of the ball, especially when the defense is lacking any real big-time players? Do you think their track team can keep up all season? I think you got to have a defense that's able to make a stop at some point. And they also have to have a defense that's willing to and able to impose its will on the opponents. We've seen some chatter from players about the Dolphins being bullies this year. There was a practice fight recently. Tyreek Hill loved it. There's been some quotes from defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver and others about this mindset. We asked Mike McDaniel, Kevin O'Connell, Mike McDaniel, my brain is impaired. We asked Mike McDaniel about it at scouting combine. This perception that there's a toughness that the Dolphins are lacking. You can't be finesse only. There's got to be a moment where you kick someone's ass. It's a violent sport. It still is. Despite all the safety changes, despite the NFL's effort to de-emphasize the brute force required when you're lined up across from someone who's going full speed at you when you go full speed at him, you need guys who can do that. You need that edge. You need that attitude to be a team that wins in the postseason. So, the offense is still going to be good. They just need to have a little more of a rough and tumble vibe on defense. And I'm not saying do anything beyond the rules. I'm just saying play through the whistle, play hard, maybe talk a little bit, maybe show other teams who's boss, because that's still a factor. In a sport like football, that physicality, intimidation, it's a factor. And it feels like the Dolphins haven't had it under Mike McDaniel. Another question. Jason Foltz, would an 18-game season mean higher salaries and or expanded rosters? Will the league report on the accuracy / effectiveness of electronic yard markers? That's two questions in one. Let me take the first one. If there's an 18-game season, I fully expect more roster spots. There definitely will be higher pay because the league and the union split the total revenue roughly 50-50. So if you play an extra week of games, you're going to make more money. That's going to be more money that's shared. That's more money for the players under the salary cap. There'll be an issue with the extra game check. They resolved that when they move to 17. They'll probably do the same thing when it goes to 18. You just take the salary. I think they did some formula to come up with the extra game check. I need to go back and see what it was. There was some back and forth, but I think that the fairest thing to do is just give each player another game check at the rate of pay that applies for the 17 games they were already due to play. As it relates to the accuracy and effectiveness of the electronic yard marker, I never count on the NFL to be transparent, except when it's in their interest to be transparent. I just hope they perfect the technology. The years of 2 sticks and 10 yards of chain in between should be over, and technology should be fully embraced, and they should have a system that works effectively to tell us when a first down has been achieved, when a touchdown has been scored, when a ball is inbounds or out of bounds. Full embrace of technology is imperative. We've been saying it for years, and it's good to see the NFL busting open the piggy bank and inching in that direction. One more question. We're going to call it a day. Tom Marshall, could it be better for Dak Prescott to decline any offer from the Cowboys and just get to the market? The fact that the Cowboys can't use the franchise tag or the transition tag next year gives Dak Prescott that leverage. He can say, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, and then get through the season and then find out what else is out there. And this is a situation where I think it's in the Cowboys' best interest for other teams to tamper, because the sooner the Cowboys know whether or not they're going to have Dak or not have Dak, the better off they're going to be. They don't want to wait for his contract to void. When it voids, it's going to dump $54.5 million, I believe, into the cap for 2025. They're going to want to redo that contract before it voids, and they have that 54.5 that they can't escape. You can at least manage that a little bit if you sign him to a contract before then. So I'd like to think that right after the season, there's a way for Dak Prescott to find out what else is out there, a way for the Cowboys to make a final decision as to what they're going to offer, and then Dak makes his move, and everyone knows, and everyone can move forward with their planning for 2025. And I think it comes down to this. The Cowboys know that someone out there will offer Dak more than what they'll pay. Is it so much more that Dak is willing to take that in lieu of playing for the Cowboys, being the Cowboys starting quarterback and everything that goes along with that, up to and including waltzing right off of the field and into a broadcast booth and making huge money with one of the networks, which look at all the former Cowboys who have made their mark in broadcasting. And it helps to have that widespread introduction that comes from being a quarterback or a high-profile player on a team that is watched more than any other. We've got Troy Aikman, we've had Jason Witten, we've got Tony Romo, all the way back to Don Meredith, really before America's team was America's team. A lot of great players have parlayed their status as a high-profile member of the Cowboys roster into a great post-playing career. Even Roger Staubach, who didn't get into broadcasting, but got into real estate and can't hide money. Roger Staubach's done pretty well for himself. So that's a question that Dak Prescott's going to have to ask himself. How much less do I take from the Cowboys than I can get from someone else while still having that Cowboys helmet on and everything that goes along with being the Cowboys starting quarterback? I think the sooner that gets resolved after the coming season, the better off everyone will be. And I think that's how it's going to play out. I don't think they're going to sign him to an extension before the season starts, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. And we see with the Cowboys, they drag their feet, and then all of a sudden they get it done. Maybe they'll get it done before week 1. First, they got to take care of CeeDee Lamb. Then the question becomes, what can they do with Dak Prescott? And if they get Dak Prescott taken care of, they better just turn around and use that cap space on Michael Parsons. Because that's the one that surprises me the most in Dallas, that he didn't hold out and that he's all in with playing the 4th year of his rookie contract for peanuts relative to what he's worth, taking a significant physical risk every time he goes on the field. Sims and I said it throughout the offseason. Michael Parsons should not step foot on a practice field or a game field until he gets his new contract, but he did. Maybe they can do it. Maybe they can surprise us all. You know, they didn't go all in with free agents, but if they could get CD, then Dak, then Micah done before week 1, that would be reason for a little optimism for the Cowboys this year. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.